Hi, Tarot friends. It's Jade here with Tarot Your Truth. Thank you so much for visiting with me today. If this is your first time, welcome. Please check out my other videos if you're so inclined. If this is not your first time visiting me, then welcome back. Thank you very much for choosing to spend your precious time with me. So today I'm coming to you with a November wrap-up video, and in front of you you see some of the decks that are either new decks that have arrived in the month of November, or some decks that I've just made some pouches for. So we'll go through some of these. Let's start from the top of the pile. This one, I think I've shown this before. This is my Goddess Tarot. I made this pouch for it. I keep the little booklet in there as well, but I do have a walkthrough of this deck, so I won't go through all of the cards here. I'll see if I can put in. I'll link it anyway. Hopefully, I'll remember to do that. But anyways, I very much like this. I love this deck. Actually, I've been working with this quite a lot since it arrived. So that is number one, the Goddess. And recently, actually, so I didn't know how to work with tarot decks and oracles. I would typically just use a tarot deck alone. Sorry about that. And so I didn't really have many oracle decks. I had, I think, 2 or maybe 3 actually, one of which I gave to my daughter. But I still have the Shapeshifter Oracle. Whoa. Here's the backs. And I have the Vampire Oracle as well. And these are great. I really like them. But the problem is that I didn't know how to really use them in conjunction with my tarot readings. And so I wouldn't just often pull out just the Oracle decks just on their own. Thank you to some very lovely people, such as Tarot Oracle, who showed me how to use both. And so I've been enjoying coupling some of my tarot readings with oracle decks as well. So I would just draw one or 2 cards maybe for to provide an overall general reading. And with the Goddess deck, probably this will come as no surprise, but the one oracle deck that I have, which I haven't mentioned, is the Divine Feminine Oracle. This one I really love as well. And oops, all of my cards fell. Sorry. Anyway, all of my cards fell on the floor, and so I had 52 pickup. So that is the Universal Goddess deck by Lo Scarabeo. We'll go with this one here. This is another pouch that I made. This one with a turtleneck. I love making these because it's just the amount of leftovers of yarn that I typically have, and they're just perfect for these. They're nice and thick and they provide lots of protection. So this obviously is my Enchanted Forest Tarot. I do have a walkthrough of this one as well, so I won't go through all the decks. So I used this deck as well in the month of November. Not as much as I thought that I would, actually. But I think that's the fault of the Divine Goddess deck, because I've been really loving on that one. Okay, let's go with this one here. So 4 different yarns. We've got this greeny brown one, orangey reds, browns, greens, just a brown, and then just an orange. And 5 points if anyone can guess what deck is in here before I open it up. This is the Aquarian Tarot that I have. Actually, look at these colors. Does that not match perfect or what? I really love, I've been really trying to do my best to match the yarns that I use for the pouches to the actual deck. And part of that reason, part of that is just because it's just fun. But the other part is because it really helps me to know what deck is in what pouch without having to open it up. And while I absolutely adore my tarot cloths and wraps, sorry, words are difficult today, it's a chore to see what's in it. Right, so this one here I know because I use this deck very, very often. But you know, you have to sort of unwrap it before you can get to the actual deck. So I'll just move this aside. I don't want this to be super boring for you guys. All right. Next pouch I made is this one, and I don't know if you can see. Can you see the sparkles in the yarn? I think you can see it. Anyway, both the pink and the blue are sparkly. I have been experimenting with different types of closures. So I've used buttons, I've used clasps, and this is just another. All this is a pull, like for sweaters and jackets, and it actually works really well with this button. And you can probably tell what deck this is just from the coral edging. I haven't seen any other decks with that color, but this is, of course, the Muse Tarot. I really have been enjoying this deck tremendously. It's much deeper than I thought it would be, actually, when I first got it, which is very interesting. Okay, this one here is another one. Again, these are just leftover yarns. This one I just made some buttonhole loops. And this deck did not come in the month of November. This is came, I think, in September. And it is the Emerging Toronto Artists deck. Okay, and I do have a walkthrough of that, so I won't walk through all of those cards. Guys, I feel like quite the tarot deck piglet, because so many decks have arrived. I haven't purchased all of these in the month of November, but so some of them were pre-ordered from months before, and they just happened to arrive this month. There's another one, and there's another one, and there's another one. So actually, well, let's just go through this one first. I think I've shown this one before. I also have a walkthrough, again, different clasp. Lovely little cable going up each side. And this is the ethereal tarot, which I really, really like. It is large for my hands, and what I've been doing is practicing just hand over hand lengthwise, because I have fairly small hands, and this really stretches my hands more than is really comfortable. Love this deck. Haven't worked too much with it yet, but I do have plans for it. I think in January. That one. I'll talk about my plans, I think, in a little bit in a later episode. This is a deck that arrived earlier than November, but I did make a pouch for it in November. This is one yarn, not multiple yarns, that just has long color changing runs, and it is my Druid Craft, which I trimmed and edged. I've been using this deck for the past couple of weeks quite a bit, and I will be using this for one of the challenges, one of the monthly challenges that I've joined up for in the month of December on Facebook. This deck did not arrive in November. It arrived earlier this summer, I think. I just made a pouch for it. Actually, I have to cut that off. Put a lovely button on it. This is my JJ Swiss deck. So again, I have a walkthrough, so I won't go through the cards. Just wanted to show off the little pouch. And again, pouch to match more or less the cards. Okay, this one here, again, a different type of closure again. There's buttons, but I didn't make buttonholes. I am just doing the sort of the folio thing. If I get tired of that, these are long enough that I can turn them into buttonhole loops. But for now, it seems to work pretty well. And this is the Wrapup Tarot. And I apologize, actually. If you have watched my Walking Through the Tarot series, where I go through one card at a time and show 42 or so different versions of the same card. That's upside down, sorry. I keep referring to this deck as the John Bauer Tarot. I have no idea why, because I don't own that deck and no plans to. So again, sorry, my cards from a bunch of my decks fell on the floor, and so they're all discombobulated and upside down. So I apologize. It is not the John Bauer Tarot. It is the Wrapup Tarot, which I also edged to match the backs. I think I did a pretty good job there. And I think I did a pretty good job matching the tarot pouch as well, yarns. All right, put that there. We have another deck that fell on the floor and is all discombobulated. Is my Influences of the Angel Tarot. And this one I haven't used too much so far. However, I will be using it for, there's the backs. I will be using it for one of the challenges I have coming up. Well, actually, I'm starting already, since we're already in the first few days of December. I do have a walkthrough of this, so I'm not going to show this entire thing, but I really love this. And again, actually, along the lines of pairing tarot decks and oracle decks, I just received, yesterday actually, or maybe the day before, an Oracle deck. So Hay House had, as I'm sure many of you know, had a sale, and I purchased the Ancestors or the Angels and Ancestors Oracle deck. Here are the backs. I edged it to match. I think I did a pretty good job on the match there. And I'm really enjoying this. I will do a walkthrough. And I'm going to be pairing up this deck with my Angels, Influences of the Angels deck. I think I would really like to do that. And that one I just have in a pouch that I purchased the other day from the Dollarama here. I will probably end up making a separate pouch for it though, to be honest with you. I've been reading the book, which is why there's a bookmark in there. Okay, so some other decks that I received this month that I have not made any pouches for. So along with the Ancestors and Angels, this one arrived with it, the Quantum Oracle. Here are the backs, and I edged it to match that darker blue on the edges. I think it did a pretty good job there. I've not read the book yet for this. It does come with a pretty decent sized guidebook, and I can't wait to jump into this. So cute, baby. All right. So that is Oracle number 2 that arrived this month, and Oracle number 3 that arrived is the Enchanted Map Oracle cards by Colette Baron Reed. Also comes with about the same size guidebook. Here are the backs. These are really shiny cards, as you can see. And I edged this in a, oh, don't know what happened there. Oh, that's actually the card that's bent. I think that's from when they fell. Anyway, I edged them with a gold to sort of match the borders here. I will do a walkthrough of these. You always hear people say, oh, you know, these have been out for, this deck has been out for a long time, so I'm not going to, you know, so I don't need to walk through it type of thing. But if you're like me and you've just not been into oracles, then you've not seen it. So I'm going to do that, I think. Okay, one more tarot deck arrived, and that is the mass market edition of the Light Seers. And I'm actually going to just adjust the lighting here. Hopefully that's a bit better. So I ordered mine from Wordery. The box is incredible. Love the box. Super sturdy. The booklet's a pretty good size again. Here are the backs. I edged it in a lovely green. Probably not going to be able to see too well because of the color now, but they're not all exactly the same height. That part doesn't bother me as much as the fold in the cards. So you can just see it there. And it is, there you go. You can see it is most of the cards. It's about 75% of the cards. And if I show you the front there, you can see they are creased. So that is really annoying. The other thing is, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. Can you see the edges? See that top edge? It is reflecting light differently, and you can just see that the card is bent inwards. The very edge of it. All of the cards are like that, which made edging it a pain in the butt. But it also makes shuffling harder because the cards keep catching on themselves. So I did order from Wordery, and they have shipped me a new deck. They told me I didn't have to send this one back, that I should just donate it. And I will probably be handing this one to my daughter at some point. Okay. One more tarot deck. And that is the Aleister Crowley Thoth deck. So this deck, I didn't really have any plans on acquiring until I watched Natalia over at Ouroboros talk about it. Here's the backs. Whoa. Oh, that's just the extra card. Okay. And I didn't have any plans to buy this because I had the Millennium Thoth, which is a more updated version of this. The images are pretty much the same for the most part. Some minor differences for sure, but it's just that the artwork has been updated. Those cards are much smaller than this, maybe about half the size. And so I thought that I would buy the bigger version so that I can see the images better, the symbolism. And then also I do learn, if you've watched my Walking Through the Tarot series, I do learn from comparing different decks and contrasting and figuring out why certain things were added and not others. And so that's why I purchased this deck. I do have plans in 2020 to learn the Thoth system, so this is not an absolutely immediate thing that I will work with, but it will be within the next few months. Okay, and one more thing that came in, which I had pre-ordered a while ago, and one of the other systems I want to learn in 2020 is the Lenormand. So I did have the Mirror Truth Lenormand, and I wasn't really looking to buy another one, but then I saw this one, which is a travel one. I consider it a travel one, by Lisa Hunt. It's written by Arwen Lynch. I love Lisa Hunt's artwork, and so I decided to purchase this one as well. I haven't worked with it. I just opened it up. This one just arrived. The booklet. Can I just say how refreshing it is that the print is not super tiny. I have good eyesight, but there are a lot of guidebooks that are just written in tiny font. And then look how small these cards are. Aren't they cute? Let's see if I grab a tarot card. So here's my Muse tarot, and you can see just how much smaller those are than the regular tarot card. So that is another system that I'm looking forward to working with. Here's the backs. And learning this coming year. What I don't understand is why the deck is so much smaller than the tin. I don't know if this is just a standard size tin, and so they were just trying to keep the costs down or what, but also the tin is very annoying because it doesn't quite close. So I might be making a pouch for it. We'll see. And that is it for the decks and the pouches that I have made. So I had previously shown this. I'll just show it again really quick. But I ordered the Metaphysician's Planner, and I'll show that in a second. But with that, you had the option to pay a little bit extra and get a mini version of the Spirit Keeper's Tarot. These all fell on the floor with my other cards. And so I elected to do that because I missed out on buying this this deck, the real version of the deck, and one day it'll be in my hands. But in the meantime, I did want to start learning about it and working with it. And the tiny version is very cute, but it's not very usable. You can't really see the there's so much in here, and you can't really see that with the tiny version, which is half the size. So I just printed these at double the size. It worked out okay, especially the fronts. The backs, again, I've shown this before, but I'll show it again in case you haven't seen. But you can see they're not really meant to be printed at double the size, and so you can see there that the backs didn't quite match up. And that's okay. I don't read with the backs, I read with the fronts, and they're beautiful. So that is the tiny version of the Spirit Keeper's Tarot, and all I did was print that at 200% of the size. And I want to show the Metaphysician's Planner, which I ordered. It is gorgeous. So I purchased the trade paperback version, which is about half the size, maybe the size of this journal, as an example. And I'm waiting for that to arrive. I just got a notification that it's being shipped by Lulu, but I also had read on Benebel's site that she prints 2 copies. She keeps one at home and then one in her office. And so my thought was that I would use the trade paperback version at just to sort of take back and forth with me, and I would keep one version at home. So you could choose different, actually this is it here, you could choose a different covers. She has all kinds of different color covers, or you could make your own. And I actually chose 2 covers. One was this one, which I love. And the other one is this one here, which I also love. So printing it in 8.5 by 11 did cut some things off in the bottom, which is fine. You can see there, actually some of the text, you can see some text is missing. Some of the symbols got cut off there, but it's fine because this is just the version that's going to stay at home. This one, mine was 214 pages, so pretty significant. And it comes with a guidebook, which I also printed and put the same cover on. And the guidebook is actually thicker than the actual Metaphysician's Planner. So what I did was I printed it so that there were 2 pages per page. And it has some just incredible information in here. So I can't wait until the holidays when I have a few days off and I can really dig into this. So let me know if you have it. Have you used it before? I would love to know. Because I've not used it before, and I'm really looking forward to doing that. Okay. Last purchase. I went a little bit crazy on the crystals. So I didn't get all of these this time in this month, but quite a few of them. I'm not going to bring them out individually because we'll be here forever, but I have a selenite wand. Can't remember what this one is actually, but I think it's a rose jasper. I got 2 pieces of malachite because gorgeous. Sunstone. I can't remember what this one is actually. I'll have to pull out the page. So what I did, I learned actually for my first foray, because I got home and then I promptly forgot what they were, is that so this is mookaite, which is beautiful. I learned that, so what I do is if there's a stone, that's actually not showing how pretty that pink is. It's looking very washed out. No. Okay. Anyway, I take a picture of the bowl where the stones are with the name, so that when I get home I remember what they are. This is amethyst. I bought a string of snowflake obsidian. I would like to make some prayer beads. Some lapis lazuli. I actually also got a lapis lazuli arrow point. Some clear quartz. Some obsidian. I can't remember what this one is called. The black in it is tourmaline, but I can't remember what the greeny yellow is. I have it written down. And we've got some emerald. Oh, this one is bloodstone, so called because of the red bits in it. I think this one's jade. Goldstone, I think. Did I say this one? Tiger eye. It's a moonstone. And I can't remember. Anyway, those are pretty much what just arrived. I do, like I said, I plan to make some prayer or some mala bracelets or prayer bracelets. And so that's why I purchased those. So this month, oh, one more, at the same metaphysical shop where I got the crystals, I bought 2 things. One is this room spray, which is called Purify. And it is a blend. Let's see if that'll focus. Cedar leaf, rosemary, lavender, sage, frankincense, jasmine, and grapefruit essential oils. It smells wonderful. And the other one I also purchased for use at work is peppermint and rosemary. I love it. It smells so good. So good. Okay, so that's all the purchases for this month. Oh my gosh, I feel like such a deck pig, but I promise I didn't hit buy on those all this month. They just happened to be coming in. I am waiting for a couple more to come in that I ordered months ago, but I am planning on a deck diet, if you will, because I have plans to systematically work through and work with and through some of the decks that I have. I'm planning on doing a whole bunch of reading as well. I did purchase some books as well, which include this. This is one of the decks I'm waiting for, which is the Madame Endora's fortune cards. And so for some reason they shipped separately, so I'm waiting for that. I purchased this, the Essential Tarot by Vincent Petisky. I have been reading through several books, including the and I have them. I don't have the paper copies because I have them on my Kindle. But I've been reading through the Holistic Tarot, and also the Tarot Your Court by Ethany Dawn, and The Easiest Way to Learn Tarot Ever by Dusty White. That book actually I'm really enjoying because the exercises are great. You really get to know your decks well and what they can mean to you. You start off with one card at a time and just looking at what's happening in the card. What can you make out? What could it possibly be telling you in any given circumstance? And then you put two cards together, and you can do different exercises with them, and then eventually you just keep adding. You keep adding cards. How to get from here to here. You make up stories, and by doing that and going through the whole deck, I'm finding that it's really helping me a lot with my readings, my interpretations, figuring out different possible meanings in any kind of situation, and it's been really great. I don't know if any of you have tried it. I would love to hear, and if any of you have tried any of those resources, actually I would love to hear. Holistic Tarot is amazing as well, and there's so much information in it though that I'm sort of taking it in little steps. I have my little notebooks, so one per resource, and going through things that way. But in the month of December, I'm going to be taking part in different in 4 different challenges actually. So I will be using my Druid Craft for one. I will be using the Angel Tarot and the Angels and Ancestors deck for another one. And I will be using, where is it? My Goddess deck and Divine Feminine Oracle, actually just for my daily readings. And I'm missing something. Oh yes, of course, my hidden realms deck with which oracle did I pair with that? My hidden realms with the Shapeshifter Oracle, and this one actually I'm doing the Learn a Deck in 21 Days challenge by Oisima. I'm very sorry if I mispronounced the name. And yeah, so I'm planning on doing those 5. I also will be using my Pagan Otherworlds this month as well for different things. So I'm planning on every month sort of going through 4 or 5 decks, picking 4 or 5 decks and just working exclusively with them and working with them in depth, and just trying to I'm trying to work with all of my decks a little at a time. I would like to get through all of them. I don't like to just collect and then not use. I have purchased these to use them, to study them, and that's what I plan to do. So that is it for me for the month of November. I've been doing some other things. I have been reading some of the guidebooks. I showed you some of them, but the little white books and whatnot. I've been reading through the Druidcraft one, and this one I'm going to be starting as well. I skimmed through these when I first got the decks, but I'm going to be looking at them in a little bit more detail, and just learning and reading and doing crafting and doing as much as I can with the time that I have available. And please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, especially if you're with me by the end of this. When I'm saying this, I really appreciate it. And please let me know do you have any of these decks? Do you work with them? How do they work for you? I would love to continue the conversation. Anyway, that's it for me for this month, and I hope I see you soon. Bye for now.